Welcome. So today, right now, we're going to be working on an undersea themed project. And maybe you've done this before, but they're just so much fun, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to do this again, and these are things that you can use from home. Before we get going, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about back in the 1800s. There was a man named Jules Verne who wrote. He was French, and he began writing books in the 1860s, I think. The book, this is the movie, and you can get, this is from here at the library, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He and another author named H.G. Wells I've often been called the father of science fiction. Jules Verne imagined email and computer and talking to people talking to one another across the world. And this is in the 1800s. Before the telephone, and it's just he's quite interesting. But I thought that this would be something that you could your project, your summer reading program is about discovery and investigation and reading, and this is something. This, if you can find the book somewhere, I'm sure. I don't know that we have it here, but this is the movie. And also, I would, especially for older students, I would recommend that you read or that you watch the extras, because the people who created this was a Walt Disney. When they created this, the special effects were top-notch. The things that then they go through the whole process of talking about how they created certain effects. And we might think, oh, they're just that's kind of wonky, now. But if they hadn't done what they had done, then the people who make movies today wouldn't be able to do what they do today. We learn from the people in the past. So, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I think you would really enjoy it. You enjoy the movie and you enjoy the book. I've read the book, it's wonderful. I love it. And I'm sure there's a junior classic concerning this. And this, I wanted to show you this. This is not library friendly. The spine it's fragile. The book is fragile. I think you can find them at a bookstore, but they talk about, and it's based on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and lots of lots of flip up things and stickers and things like that. But the illustrations are gorgeous, and this is something that this is when they talk about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It doesn't mean that they went 20,000 leagues down. It means that they went 20,000 leagues around the world. Okay, that's what that's talking about. But then this is oceanology. This is kind of a neat book that you might be able to find on Amazon or at the local bookstore. Okay, so what we're going to do today is create a print. And we're going to take styrofoam. I took a styrofoam tray, or here we go. It can be round, or the tray, a styrofoam plate. The plates don't have it on the back. You'll have to be careful. On the back of the tray, there's like an indentation, like a stamp. So when you do make your print, you don't want to use that side. Okay, you want to use the other side. All right, and it will work fine. So you take a tray or a plate, and you're going to trim off the edges so that it lays flat. So you're going to trim it like so. Make sure that all of the edge is off. And move it around like so. Not hard. All right. So you can just get rid of that. And I'm not going to cut this, but you do the same thing. So then you have your flat styrofoam. Then what you do is you take, and that is what I forgot. You can take a piece of tape and tape your styrofoam down onto your table. And then you are going to take a piece of paper. You're going to cut a piece of paper that is the same size as your plate or the tray, like I've done here. And I have the tray back here, and my little stamp part is on the back, so it won't show. And then I taped a piece of paper onto the front. And I created my stencil, and it looks like this. So I've created the stencil and you would want to do that before before you tape it on. I'm sorry. You want to go ahead and draw. You want to keep it very simple. You don't want your shapes too small. because if they're too small, as you're pushing on the tray with your pencil, you're going over this the pattern, then if it's too small, it breaks and you lose your detail. Okay, you can't have too small. Your details can't be too small. All right. Okay, so then I do that. I create my picture on a piece of copy paper first. Then I tape it on, and I put it down like this. And you also want to use a pencil that's not too sharp, because then you'll just be having holes poked in. And again, you just have to work with it. You can feel it, and you go around everything that you have drawn. You go around all your pencil marks very neatly, and then because it's taped, then you can lift it up and look at it and see how you're doing. And then when you put it back down, it'll be on the same spot where you won't have double pictures, okay? So anyway, I've done all that. And let's say I've gone all the way around, and I'm going to check, and I think I'm okay here. Just a minute. And I've got that. I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to check, and it looks pretty good. And I'm going to kind of put it down again. And what you can also do, if you have enough, like if I can lift this up, and I can look at this, and I think, okay, this is all right. I'm going to do my glasses here. There we go. And I can go back, and I can, if you can just go over your lines to make sure they're dark enough, or that they have made good indentions. Because sometimes the paper. So I'm just going to go back over that real fast. See, I'm just kind of I think I've done all right, but I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure with this. Okay, I've got my sand down here. Here was I was giving you advice, and I didn't follow it myself. I wanted some seaweed like this, so I may have to go back and just make the leaves just a little bit bigger so that I can see them. And here I just did this. You can create any kind of seaweed you want. There, okay, I think I've got it. Now, one of the fun things, I love this part of it, where I am going to now take my markers, and I'm going to color over it. I'm going to start up here. And seawater, because of the light and because of the seaweed growing and the sky, the color of the sky, water doesn't look all one color. I'm going to kind of go like so, and in here, and oops. I'm going to take that out. Oops. That's going to be my sand. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And I'm going to change to another kind of blue. Maybe a little more of a turquoisey blue. And it looks like the ink isn't tanking, but it is. And you don't have to worry about it. Okay, and little clownfish here. Give him a little blue eye there. And I think I might come back up here and get some pink to put on the jellyfish. I'll kind of just go around the edge of it, and then we'll see what happens here. Okay, and let me seaweed. I'll color the seaweed. Go. Get the sand. All right. Okay, now this is kind of the fun part. So I'm going to take this is kind of a scrap paper, and I had something else drawn on it or started. So I hope it doesn't show up, but oh well, if it does, it does. And now we're going to take a sponge brush, go over this. We're going to take watercolor paper. So we've used our markers, our water soluble markers that you can just get at Walmart, and a styrofoam plate or a styrofoam tray, and you've had your piece of paper with your pencil. You've drawn your picture with it, with your pencil on your paper, and then you've kind of made your imprint on your styrofoam. So now you don't want this paper soaking, but also you don't want it too dry. And if it doesn't work, you can try it again. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and press it down. Ta-da! I don't think I had, right down here, I didn't have enough. So I can do it again. It's not going to be hard. I can, let's see. I'll just, it will not be hard at all. And again, it just, you don't have to do, it doesn't have to be super neat. But this is a good, I'm kind of, in a way, I'm kind of glad that we have to add more water. I didn't add enough water to it, and that's a good, it's good to see things like that, because you know, sometimes things don't work out the first time, not exactly the way you want it, and that's all right. But you don't have to be too careful with this. Let's see, get our little fish rejuvenated here. And you can use these over and over. You just have to put more marker on them. Okie doke. We'll try it again. And be more liberal with my water here. And again, it's just working with it and seeing what you can do. And I saw that I had too little water, but then you get afraid of having too much. But again, like I said, all you have to do is go over it again with marker. Now, yeah, I think it's working. So I just kind of hold it down, press, make sure I press everywhere. And then I pull up, ta-da. Ooh, I like it. And it is kind of runny, but I love it. I just love it. It did what I wanted I did what I wanted it to do. Oh, like right over here, I had some trouble with my seaweed. But you know what it reminds me of? It looks like coral. So I'm not gonna worry about this part. Right in here looks like coral. And it didn't come off. I don't know why it didn't come off, but it looks like coral. And I love it. And then I do have some seaweed here, and there you go. All right. Enjoy.